Lipman Shapiro. The Shapiro name is associated with self-sacrifice because all those who are named Shapiro come from the city of Speyer, which, rather than convert to Christianity by the point of the sword, sacrificed their lives. Those who survived decided that no matter what their family, they would always remember the martyrs of Speyer, and they called themselves Shapiro in their honor, their eternal honor. Reb Lipman Shapiro was involved in educating Jewish people at a time in Russia where it was dangerous to be Jewish openly. He had a full beard and was not embarrassed by his beard. He was a great scholar with a wonderful temperament, and people drew to him. He was able to influence dozens and dozens of people to the ways of the Torah by the power of his intellect, by the warmth of his heart and smile. I remembered him in his later years as my son became married to his granddaughter Rivki, and I marveled at his goodness, his good nature, his smile, his level-headedness, never ever demanding from people what they couldn't, but demanding from them that they be, as much as they could be, a proud Jew. So my little grandchild, born 2 months after the passing of this great-grandfather, was named after him, Lipman, in memory of this chassid who looked into the faces of the communist world and says, I'm not changing. I believe that the Torah came from God, and if it came from God, it's worth more than all the material goods in the world, and all the happiness in the world, and none of your arrests, and none of your horrors, and none of your arms drawn out and swords drawn out against me will influence me. And he established one of the finest households and families among the Lubavitcher Chassidim. Amongst his children are great Rabbanim, rabbis, Rosh Yeshivas, people of tremendous intellect and enthusiasm, all part of the army of God, the true army of God. May it be God's will that our little Lippe Bergstein will be going in those footsteps of this great-grandfather. Again, this is coming together with the idea of the circumcision. And circumcision is something that some people out there don't like, but circumcision to us is a joyful occasion because it represents the entrance of the holy soul into the body. Now, how is it that circumcising a piece of flesh becomes the entranceway for the holy soul to enter the body? The answer is, we believe in sanctifying the body. And those who believe in keeping the body intact don't sanctify the body. They worship the body. They worship the body functions of human sexuality, as if not only it was a right, or a R-I-G-H-T, or a right, R-I-T-E, but something to be a slave unto, something to think about and to be involved in, as people who follow Freud believe that everything is sexual. And so we Jews don't believe that. We Jews believe that a human being can live for a higher purpose other than just what comes naturally. We believe that there is a higher power who created everything, caused everything to be, and despite you thinking that it is God of the gaps, no. God is the ultimate wisdom, and every wisdom that you see and find in the world is an affirmation of God, because that's what God is. Read Maimonides. Hu Hamade, he is the knowledge. V'hu HaYodeya, and he is the one who knows. V'hu HaYodua, and he is that which is known. He is the wisdom, and the wisdom is He. And all the wisdom that we see in the universe, and every phase of the universe, and the development of the universe, all come from God, because God is the ultimate wisdom. And that ultimate wisdom declared the commandments in the Torah, declared that all of mankind are obligated to follow the 7 Noahide commandments. And although I know I'm accused of changing things around from a tribal God to a God that's universal, I believe in a universal God. I believe in a God of compassion and love. I believe that God wants us to love and respect each other, and love and respect this world, and do what we can to make this a kind and gentle world. But at the same time, God wants us to stand up to evil. And those who are evil have to be stood up to. Unfortunately, the atheist world that's in Europe is not standing up to evil. It is bending their head to the tyrants of Islamofascism, against those people whom they persecuted for 2,000 years. You see, while they might have had sympathy for a few years for their victims, the truth is, people hate their victims because their victims remind them of the crimes that they perpetrated. The presence of a strong Jewish state reminds Europe of 2,000 years of sinfulness. The presence of a strong Jewish state also rubs people the wrong way. How dare these people who were so subservient should be proud and independent. Yes, we Jews are proud and independent. We believe in the right of liberty and justice for all, and the rights and liberty and justice for Jews to live in the Holy Land, free from terrorism, free from attacks, a free people to decide their future, and to have their children grow up without fear of bombs, without fear of snipers, without fear of attacks by knives. Go into the actual numbers. How many attacks on innocent Arabs have there been in the last 60 some odd years? And how many attacks by knives, by guns, by machine guns, by bombs, by suicide bombers, by whole armies and whole peoples has there been against the state of Israel and the Jewish people? I spent 4 years in Kfar Chabad, in the village which was started by the previous Lubavitch Rebbe, whose holidays today, this is the day he was released from prison in 1927. In Kfar Chabad, there's an institution called Yad HaChamisha, the Institute for the Five. What are the five? The five represent a teacher and 4 little children brutally murdered by the Fedayeen, known as the PLO, sent by Yasser Arafat, Yimach Shmo, murdering 4 Jewish children and their teacher while they were praying. There's never been any parallel like that in the Arab world, and Jewish people don't do that. If it happened once, it's a big deal. Yeah, you'll bring Dir Yassin. Don't bring Dir Yassin. It's part of a war. Part of a war in which people want to annihilate the Jewish people. Look at what's happened during the so-called peacetime. How many Jews have attacked and murdered Arabs? Yeah, one Jew who believed that they were trying to start an attack and a pogrom in Hebron. But that's it. Against thousands of suicide bombers, thousands of snipers, thousands of attacks, and whole armies bent on the destruction of a people. And yet, the one who is being attacked is the one who is vilified by an atheist Europe. Think about it, my atheist friends, and have a good Shabbos.